So, slight apologies if the last couple of videos, the audio quality is a little bit below average. It's just that sometimes the circumstances of how I record something are compromised. There's no getting around it. But apologies if it was a little bit too much echo or bass or whatever, so it's hard to follow. The basic gist of what I was getting at in one of the past videos is that, well, basically, Aaron is um, being very racist towards Hispanic people, and I'm Hispanic, so it's kind of just like, why is he doing that? It's just needlessly alienating people who might help him, but that is his way. And there's a larger question too with SPTV: is itself woke, right? Because it invokes a lot of things like gay rights, the abuse against the elderly, so on and so forth. So the language seems inclusive, but the reality is something else. Which brings us to the topic of Aaron's legal fund and legal bills and how he's responding. So Aaron put up a GoFundMe, and so far it's had only a few $1,000s raised. He wants to raise around $25,000. I highly doubt he'll get to that amount of money. So, what was the point of the GoFundMe? Well, I think honestly, he's just trying to gauge how much support he has within his own community. And the answer is it's pretty intense with the hardcore people, right? So, dozens of people are willing to give up some money to help him, and it totals in the low thousands. Now, that's pretty incredible given how many times he's been exposed as a liar and a grifter, but I'm guessing he's pretty disappointed that he's not getting more support. Well, again, I don't see the issue here because I'm sure his audience knows as much as he does about how YouTube works. And it gets a little weird because he keeps celebrating how many people are watching his videos. So, unless they've been demonetized, right, secretly, very quickly, he's going to get fairly good money for the kind of lives he does, right? If they reach like $100,000, $200,000, that's a fairly decent amount of money. So he can afford to pay for the lawyer, right? His own audience knows that. They know that you're doing okay with the online revenue. He even has sponsorships, right? If you're putting out these videos where you're panicking about going to jail, being railroaded by the system, you need private help. Otherwise, the CIA, OSA will destroy you. But in real life, you have sponsorships and talk about Raycon and so on and so forth. It just sounds, it's a little off. It's a little off. So I think his audience, if they needed to, would probably give him more money. But they kind of realize he's fine. He's fine. He's fine financially, right? He doesn't need the money. He'd like it, but he doesn't really need the money, right? So there you go. His own audience is fairly cynical itself. So I think it's kind of silly that he's just going through this whole thing. There's also the question about the GoFundMe onto itself. Like GoFundMe used to be fairly chaotic, right? You could just put up anything and do a GoFundMe. But in recent years, the GoFundMe people have gotten more and more restrictive about how and what you can raise money for. So in terms of legal bills, yes, you can put up "Please help my legal bills" for non-violent offenses, but he's being charged with battery. So is he breaking the rules of the GoFundMe? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I guess the language of battery seems a little strange. So Aaron's theory is that he did not physically touch the Scientologist. Like he didn't use his actual hand, right? Or any part of his physical body. Therefore, he's innocent. So it's not a violent crime. On the other hand, it seems the language of the statute is you don't necessarily need to touch someone as long as you're producing a threat or you're assaulting someone without physically using your own body. You can still be charged, right? So, for instance, I guess if you're throwing a ball or some object at someone, right? A pencil, a stapler, whatever, you can still be charged, right? You're guilty of battery, even if you're physically not touching the other person. So it's a little bit back and forth, right? But I don't know. I would assume the GoFundMe is not meant for this. So it's a little strange. I mean, I understand why he did it. GoFundMe has a lot of prestige. It's a well-known name, right? So Aaron just constantly wants things that look good on him. Like he's an egomaniac. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like an open question whether he even should be having a GoFundMe. It's like this seems to be a violent crime. So how are you raising money? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Aaron is arrogant enough to try to do it, right? Breaking blatantly the rules of the GoFundMe just to show he's getting some support. I mean, again, he is that much of an egomaniac. So it's a little strange. Now let's talk about the charge per se. I just don't know what this law firm, and it is a real law firm, and it has had success against Scientology. But again, Aaron exaggerates. It's not really specialized against Scientology, but it's had a good track record beating the church, which is pretty impressive. Still, I don't know quite what the lawyers can do because they have everything, right? They have his own admission, they have the evidence from Pharaoh Cheryl and from Aaron. It seems to meet the statute, right? Seems to meet the plain old meaning of the law. So, what would the lawyers argue? I mean, they can do these things. They can say, oh, please dismiss the case, continuance, so on and so forth. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, the most I think they could do is maybe they know the judge personally. They can ask for the minimal in terms of sentencing. But in terms of the actual defense, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's Clearwater. Maybe they have a few cases that are very strange regarding Scientology. But in terms of normal, everyday legal 101 basics, that's like he's guilty, right? All the evidence is there. He doesn't really deny he did it. He's just denying that the person was really hurt. Like saying, yeah, I did it. I committed the crime, but the other person really didn't suffer that much. Ergo, they're innocent. Well, no, that's not how the law works. It's not whether you think you harmed the person, right? It's more a sentencing issue. It is true that at the end of the day, it's like, well, really, what did he do? He threw chalk at the person. We don't know the medical history of the person. We don't know, was this really devastating? Don't know. Don't know. But even if you thought it was devastating, right? He wasn't that injured because he's still walking around. He looked shocked and stunned at what happened to him, but he does seem mobile, right? So he didn't physically destroy his entire body, right? But you don't have to go that far, right? You can still seem to be a credible threat in public. And if a person has reasonable fear, which this person does, that Aaron is going to attack him, you would be guilty. So what are they going to do? Discredit the witness? Suggest that there's corruption with the police department? Yeah, they can do all that. Maybe change the venue, but they're kind of stuck. The evidence overwhelmingly shows he's guilty. So are they going to find a way to get rid of the evidence? How? Based on what principle? I don't know. I mean, I'm honestly curious. I'm sure they're going to try to be very aggressive, but I just don't see what they can do. I mean, they can do a lot given the amount of money they're being given, 25,000, which sounds really high to me. I think that's not for this case. I'm guessing that's just their fee to be on retainer, right, for a certain amount of time. Or I guess the whole year they'll fight for him. Whatever the case. This case or other cases. But in this case, I don't know. He's cooked. Like, there's no way he's not getting out of going to jail. He may go to jail for just maybe, if he's super lucky, only a couple days or a couple weeks, but I just don't see what this law firm can do. It just seems overwhelmingly he's guilty. They may put up a bit of act, a good show, but yeah, he's guilty as charged. So it'll be interesting what their legal strategy will be. But Aaron is bound and determined to talk about his own case. So that's not good. One of the first things a lawyer will tell you is just be quiet. Don't say anything about your case. But that's not Aaron's MO. So we're probably going to be hearing inside scoops about the legal defense nobody should know about because, that's how Aaron operates, apparently.